ATL is presented by Be Sexy Hair Extensions. Be you, be sexy. J Gems, high fashion on a budget. And Queen City Immigration Law, your immigration solution. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spotlight on ATL. I'm your host, Shemille Blake, and today we have the privilege to have Mr. Vashmere Valentine. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
He's been described as one of the most recognizable African-American film directors of our time and one of the fastest growing directors of 2018. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we met recently at the second annual ATL Actors Awards.
Absolutely.
Yes, and you were honored for your work within the Atlanta film industry.
Yes.
And you were also received an award for Atlanta's Best Screenwriter.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
How did that feel?
It was exciting. There's a large amount of talent based in Atlanta, especially when it comes to screenwriting and directing. So to be, honored in that type of way was something else. There's a lot of big talent out here.
Good for you.
Thank you.
But let's start off by telling us what exactly you do. Just give us a brief synopsis.
Well, in the industry, I work as a film director, a screenwriter, as well as a creative consultant. Director would be someone that kind of tells the story of any film and keeps it moving along. Screenwriter would be someone that obviously develops the story, as well as the characters. And as a creative consultant, I usually come across projects and I'll give opinions based on things like changes that should be made or certain elements inside the script that would be better off if they were made a little bit more easier to read or work better, things like that. So that's pretty much what my days are.
Very good. So for the viewers at home, tell us how you started off in the film industry.
I started off about 10 years back as a script reader. And we would read scripts a day, sometimes 10, 15, and it was torture, but there was a lot to gain from it. From that, I really was able to realize what made a really good piece of work.
Of course.
And from there, that led to me working as a consultant. And from a consultant, I started diving more into screenwriting and the possibilities of it, and that led to my work as a director.
Great, that's awesome. But we want to get the backstory. I know this didn't just fall into your lap. Like, how did you become successful? When we come back, a deeper look into the journey of award-winning film director Vashmere Valentine, after these messages.
You're watching Spotlight on ATL with Shemille Blake.
Hey guys, this is Vashmere Valentine, and you're watching Spotlight on ATL.
Welcome back. You're watching Spotlight on ATL. I'm your host, Shemille Blake, and if you're just joining us, we're sitting here with award-winning filmmaker Vashmere Valentine. So let's get into it. Describe the moment where you decided to risk it all to pursue your passion.
I would say I had a choice. It was either to remain in Los Angeles and continue to work as a screenwriter and a creative consultant, or take the advice from one of my friends and pursue directing. And I would be giving up a lot of the things that I already previously had, like my home, a lot of things, the relationships that I had with a lot of people. And I made that leap, and it was scary, but it was necessary in order to pursue what I really felt like deep down I was supposed to be doing.
Absolutely, and I'm happy that it actually worked out for you.
That makes two of us.
But who are some of your role models or influencers in the business?
I was an 80s baby, so a lot of the films that we grew up watching were very fictional and fantasy related, and also a lot that had to do with real issues.
Yes.
John Hughes, directors, like him with movies like The Breakfast Club and Dutch. Of course, directors like Tim Burton, Steven Spielberg. A lot of directors that really influenced a lot of the fantasy that the 80s kids know, and that some of the new generation is starting to open their minds to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. If not film, then what would you be doing?
I would actually, to honestly answer that question, it would probably be a watchmaker.
A watchmaker?
Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
why.
wow.
That just always
Your
came
favorite
out.
watch?
Rolex.
Rolex, of course. That's a good one. Who is the selfish artist? I know you have a little photography background.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Selfish Artist is a fine art photographer that does a lot of work with black and white and color. And I kind of established that after years of meeting a professor that worked at Emory University by the name of Diane Robbins. And
Okay.
she is an art major and professor, a historian of art. And she woke my eyes up to art
Yes.
and what it truly meant and what it means and to understand it. And that really influenced a lot of the work that I started doing when I started doing my photography. So I feel like there's a lot of references to a lot of older artworks in it.
Yes, yes. I've seen a lot of your stuff on your social media. Very, very beautiful. And I will hint, I do a little bit of modeling.
Okay. That taken.
Anytime
Duly noted.
you're ready.
Duly noted.
After the break, everyone, we will get into why Mr. Valentine left Hollywood and make the jump to Atlanta when we come back. We are back with Mr. Vashmere Valentine. What made you move to Atlanta?
Well, there were several reasons. One of the ones that I think was the strongest would be to escape.
Oh, wow.
Every now and then, and when you're inside the industry and people know you for doing one particular thing, it's kind of hard to switch off because people feel comfortable with the fact that you're successful at what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So sometimes venturing off into another league can be upsetting and can bring fear into people. And that's one thing that people aren't familiar with in the industry is fear.
Yeah.
We don't work well with fear.
But there's this saying, feel the fear, but do it anyway.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that's excellent for you to actually do that.
Yeah, and so I knew that in order to work with directing, I needed to start all over fresh and kind of escape away from what they knew me for, so I can come back as something that they would know me for.
Wow. Wow, that is amazing. But describe to our audience, what is the difference between working in Hollywood and working in Atlanta? I mean, Atlanta is growing. We're what, #1 now for film production?
We are actually.
Yes. That is ridiculous. Who would have
Absolutely.
thought? But just give us a comparison if you can.
I would say some of the main differences is you have what some people consider to be the Hollywood beast, and then of course you have like the independent market. Excuse me.
Okay.
So right now, I believe that those two markets are kind of at odds with each other in Atlanta. There's the independent market, of course, and then there's Hollywood. Two different beasts from the same forest, if you would.
Okay.
And I feel like the independent market for Atlanta is now rising because the Hollywood market is around it.
Yes.
And that's typically what happens when Hollywood comes to a city and starts to take over, is that the independent market starts to flourish, which means that talent that you would not have seen or maybe never met before or wouldn't have the privilege of knowing is now starting to come up, and they're starting to get the exposure that they wouldn't have before.
Good.
So with Hollywood coming to your town and filming there, the local talent is now able to get the exposure that typically they would have to move out to Hollywood and work years and years and years to try to get.
Great. So do you believe one can make it in Atlanta the same way in Hollywood, or do you believe that you have to go to Hollywood to actually get that type of success?
That's a really good question. The best way I can answer that is to say in the past, yes.
Okay.
Fortunately, social media has made that a little bit more easier now for people. So with the rise of Instagram, the rise of the video outlets that are available, anyone can be seen now. Anyone can build a fan base. Anyone can be noticed. In fact, a lot of the talent that you see now in a lot of films are a lot of people that you may see on Instagram that started with the comedic videos and stuff like that. So whereas in the past you had to either be a comedian and run a circuit, build your fan base up, and hope that Hollywood finally spotted you, or Saturday Night Live and gave you an opportunity.
Definitely.
Now you can get that opportunity directly from a fan base that you build yourself. So it's changed a lot. I notice now that agents in Hollywood and Hollywood studios are now looking towards the internet now.
Yeah, it's incredible.
For that next star versus, where you had to build yourself up and be recognized that way. And that's really good for a lot of talent now.
Yeah, that is the real deal. But coming up, two bickering siblings learn the true magic of believing when they find a real wish and encounter the menacing creature who wants it back. A look at the award-winning film, The Wish and the Wisp, written and directed by Mr. Valentine. When we come back.
Did I hear someone say wish?
So the film has been doing really, really well. Good for you.
Thank you.
And it's been making its way across the globe at many different film festivals. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so far, when we put the film out, we kind of had mixed expectations of how it would do, and we're extremely surprised at how well it's being accepted by certain fan bases, like comic book conventions, and in other countries. Like it just played in Nigeria at the Real Time Film Festival. It won in Tokyo, Japan about a month ago.
Okay.
So yeah, we're really surprised at the want for it and the need for the fantasy in a time that we thought that the fantasy industry was kind of starting to suffer, but apparently it seems like people still want to wake up the child that's within them.
Of course. Yes, we all want to fantasize and become nostalgic, and that's very beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course. When we return, Mr. Valentine will share some of his secrets on how to become successful in this highly competitive world of film. After this. Spotlight on ATL is presented by D Empire Management, the premier booking agency. Visit www.dempiremanagement.com. And for a taste of the Caribbean in the ATL, stop by Irimon Cafe, serving consistently good food. We are back with more from Atlanta film director and screenwriter, Vashmere Valentine.
Hey.
Okay, so I have a question for you. If you had to remake any movie, which would it be and why?
Gremlins.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Why is that?
I would say because when Gremlins came out, it was they didn't even know how to actually structure it or consider it. It was always back and forth between whether it was a horror film or a comedy film.
Okay.
And I always felt like Gremlins was a horror film from the beginning, and that's the way it was supposed to be done. And I've always wanted to expand upon that idea of it being a strict horror film versus being a little bit of comedy and a little bit of satire and a little bit of everything. So if I had to, that would probably be one of the first films that I would love to remake too.
I could see that. That would be very interesting, actually.
Yeah, I've actually played around with a script for it too.
Oh wow.
That was dancing around, and it was interesting to see it play out as a horror versus, what it was. But that would be definitely the film. That and the never-ending story. I would like to take a shot at that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good. All right. So, from a director's point of view, the perfect movie out there, in your opinion?
Ah, God, this is going. I'm gonna get. Oh, God. God. All right. I'll say. Oh.
You want to skip that?
That's a cut. I had one. Oh God. Why would you ask me that? Wait. It's called. What is it called? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Something.
Who's the director?
Oh God, this is such a low key movie. It's called something. It's a saying, but it's catch 20. Is it Catch 22? I think it's Catch 22.
That.
It is such an old movie. It's a weird.
Okay, I need to look into that. The perfect movie, Catch 22. Okay, interesting.
I believe it's Catch 22. Yeah, and if not Catch 22, Casablanca.
Oh,
I should have just said that.
Okay.
That was easy.
Good.
Casablanca.
So you followed your dreams. For someone out there who wants to follow their dream, how would you advise them? And the $1 million question, how to make it in the business?
I would say I had to answer this question not too long ago. If you do love film and you enjoy film and you want to work in the film, the first thing to do is to find out what aspect of film that you love.
Okay.
Whether it's be the lighting, whether it's the writing, or the directing. Find out which part and which aspect of film that you love, and then go at it with everything you have. Don't try to do everything. Those are PAs. They know how to do a little bit of everything. Yeah. You want to typically be above the line. You want to have something that you're a master at. So find out what it is about film that you love and get everything you can out of it.
Go for it, head on.
Absolutely.
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision and don't look back.
Great, that's great advice. What's next for you?
We're looking forward to this year. Finally, we're going to get my feature off the ground, which is MonsterCon, which is one of my passion projects, which I'm sure a lot of horror fans will be really happy to finally see some of their iconic figures in a positive light.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking forward to. And then there's about 3 to 4 series that we are looking to shop around to networks like Hulu and Netflix, which are going to also be very interesting, high concept ideas that we think people will really enjoy. Great
job.
Thank you.
That sounds awesome. So for people who are wanting to find you, where can they follow you?
Pretty much every social network. I'm on Vashmere Valentine. I try to make it kind of easy to find me. So whether it's Instagram or Facebook, it's just Vashmere Valentine.
All right, guys. Make sure you check him out. But we've been chatting away and we're running out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem.
And we look forward to more films from you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And much success.
Thank you.
Thank you. Until next time, I'm your host, Shemille Blake. This is Spotlight on ATL. See you next time.